Chill.
Okay,
I'm muting myself now as well. Don't worry. Okay. Yeah.
fantastic.
See you in an hour.
So, welcome everyone. I thought that this evening we would look at some practices that basically come under the wood element. So I think I explained in the last session that we did, God, look at all my white hair showing up. I think I explained in the last session that we did, a lot of these meditation and relaxation and yin practices that I do come from Far Eastern roots of Taoism, and Taoism revolves around these 5 elements that make up all of the energy of life. So you have this cycle that could be seasons of the year. It could be your energy throughout the day. It could be the nature of your awareness or your attention on something. So everything is in this kind of growth and full bloom and then deterioration cycle again. The easiest way to look at that is the seasons of the year. So you have spring, summer, autumn, winter, and everything sort of grows, goes into full fiery energetic mode, and then deteriorates and goes into hibernation in the winter again. And that could happen through any state of your awareness. And within this, there are different kind of energies, different moods connected to these 5 elements, and organs in the body that help to control and coordinate and encourage or discourage certain moods and emotions and characteristics that we might have. So the wood element is connected with springtime, which is almost where we are right now. I don't know about where you are. It's still a little wintry here. But it's about growth and this state of emerging after being in hibernation for the winter. So we start to decide that we're going to bloom into something amazing for the year. Yeah. And within that, we can also get a little bit tense, a little frustrated, a little over eager, a little over excited to sort of reach all our goals and be like racing towards the summertime. So the idea of working with the wood element in a physical practice is that it is helping us to manage those emotions of frustration, of over eagerness, of wanting to go too quickly into stuff, and find a sense of patience and calm, and be able to look at ourselves in this way of, how do I manage these emotions? How do I manage this feeling that I've got in my head? And what do I need to do to balance that out? So working with patience, steadiness, things like that. And what we're going to do, we're going to do some poses that are not only going to stimulate the blood flow to and from our liver, which is the main organ that helps control this, but also the poses are a little challenging with this element. And they really sort of start to evoke these feelings of like frustration, of like, how long am I going to be here? Basically a whole load of lunges. And then I'm going to bring you down onto your mat or your rug or your blanket, whatever you've got on the ground, and we're going to do some soft stuff as well. But we're going to start with a nice, easy meditation. So sit yourself on something comfortably. I've got my yoga cushion here, so I'm going to sit myself on that. You can sit yourself on whatever you want to. Just lift your hips a little bit, and then that might make it easier for the legs to cross and relax. Yeah. And just move yourself around a little bit. Move your head your shoulders. Feel like you can get yourself sat sort of perfectly in the middle. So we're not leaning forwards, we're not grasping and reaching for stuff and being over eager. We can sit back a little bit, we can relax into our hips, into our legs. Position your head again where it feels like your head is in center, maybe even just pulling your chin in a little bit. Not looking down, still looking forwards, but just pulling that chin back in. You might get a little double chin feeling there, but never mind, we're all doing it. Mm-hmm. Take a big long breath in through your nose and let it go out of your mouth. As you do that, let your shoulders drop. And again, a breath in through the nose. And a steady, controlled breath out. Letting those shoulders drop, letting the chest relax. And again, breath in. And a breath out, let the shoulders drop. And just start to concentrate on your breathing. We do this at the beginning of every yoga practice. And it's basically allowing you to enter this space that is you. We're very often spending most of our time preoccupied with the things that are going on in the outside world, people, kids, animals, work, whatever. So try and close down all of that stuff and bring your attention just inside to you. What do you feel like? And there's absolutely no right or wrong answer for that. Just notice. Just notice what you feel like. You might feel great, you might feel terrible, you might feel awake, you might feel tired. Whatever it is, notice it. Take a breath and just sit with whatever you notice. And that can go for feelings in your body, feelings that are in your mind. Your mood right now might be completely different to your overall vibe at this moment of the year. See if you can start to make your breath, your inhales and your exhales, longer than they are usually. We usually just breathe in like the top part of our lungs. I want you to see if you can breathe in and really fill into your belly. Fill the chest, feel like you're filling all the way up to your shoulders. And as you breathe out, let that breath go. Let the body relax. And let your belly deflate. Relaxing your throat, relax your tongue in the mouth. So there's a big space around your mouth and your throat for this breath to get in and out of your body fully. And the meditation we're going to do is just as you're sat breathing. So you don't need to change anything that you're doing right now. Stay with exactly what you're doing right now, that deep, steady breath. And I want you to start visualizing some things happening in your body. So as you breathe in, imagine your breath traveling in to the top of your spine, just to that space where your spine joins into your skull. And as you breathe out, it whips its way down your spine, down to your roots, and around your body and out of the nose again. So we're inhaling, filling the belly, filling the chest. It fills up to the back of the neck, Vishuddha chakra. And as we breathe out, it whips down the body and scoops around our roots and out of the nose. So visualizing this big circulation of breath. See if you can soften that part of the body at the back of the neck. Scooping that breath in as you inhale up to the back of the neck and cleansing all the way down the spine as you exhale. And it rushes around the root and out of the chest again. So a big sweeping, curling, circular vacuum that we're creating as we breathe. This is a really old-fashioned yogic way of looking at the breath. Quite nice to bring our attention to those parts of the body and just imagine as you're breathing that the breath is softening those parts of the body, creating space. I want you to think about creating space as you breathe. And when we create space, the world is our oyster. Sometimes we think of space as being empty, being a void, being nothing. Space is the most important aspect of life. Space is where everything else can grow. Clean sheet and openness. Inhaling, filling the body, making space at the back of the neck, and flushing out the body all the way around your root, and your breath comes out. Let's do another couple of rounds of that. Well done. So staying in your seated position. We're going to try and do a very delicate liver massage. So the liver being the main organ that we're working with. In Chinese medicine, in Taoism, they believe that all of the major organs of your body help to store these certain energies. So if we've got a nice, healthy liver, we don't have those negative energies of frustration and tension. We can have a sense of freedom and peace and relaxation and all that. So I don't know which way around I am on your screen, but if you come to the right side of your body where your ribs are, and just that line of your ribs there where they come up to meet in the middle, and just press your fingers around the edge of your ribs on that right side. Now it's entirely up to you. You can press as much as you want to, but just think, be careful if you've got nails. But just think that you're massaging the soft tissue around the edge of those ribs. And that's where your liver is. Your liver's under there. And my physio does this to me, and he's a big man. And it's a little painful. But if we can massage around the edges of that liver, we're basically softening out the tissues that hold the liver. So in the same way that you're going to do stretching with your body and your muscles to create flexibility and space in your body, if you can massage around that liver, we can soften the connective tissues that are around the liver, encourage the blood flow, and allow the liver to do its job a little better. Yeah. It might feel a little tender. Mine feels a little tender, just around the edge of my ribs there. So don't press too hard if it feels too tender. Okay, and then release that. Just sit. Relax your hands onto your thighs, palms up. Think about breathing space into the back of the neck again. If that brings any sensations into your body as you focus on these body parts, again, just sort of gather them up and notice the different things. The first time I did this breathing exercise, I had a huge sort of tension release around my neck and in my jawline. All right. Arms down by the side. Let's take a breath in. Reach the arms up. Turn the palms of the hands down and bring your hands down over your body as though you're showering yourself with lots of energy from around you. And again, inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, hands fall down. And again, inhale. Exhale. Left hand to your heart, right hand to your lower belly. Give yourself a little squeeze and a hug. Welcome yourself into this practice. Say hello to yourself. Feel that roundness of your lower belly again. In Far Eastern practices, if you're rounding your lower belly, there's a lot of energy in there. That's a very important part of your body. So enjoy the roundness of your lower belly. All right. We're going to come into our first position. Okay. I don't think you need anything for these poses because we're going to use ourselves to support ourselves. Okay. First of all, come into an all fours position. So just hands and knees. Hands under shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And just start to push into the ground and round your spine upwards. And then let that go, let the belly drop, lift your chin and open your chest forwards. That's it. Push into the ground, round your spine, tuck the chin all the way in, look into that liver. And release. Let's try and coordinate our breath with this. So you're going to exhale as you push into the ground, squeezing and compressing the body. And inhale, release. Open the chest, stretch out that liver area, look forwards. Exhale, squeeze, compress. Inhale, release, look forwards. And again, exhale, squeeze and compress. And inhale, release and look forwards. We're going to come up into a nice, soft, gentle downward dog. So tuck your toes, lift your hips up. Don't worry about alignment or anything like that. I want you to just pedal your legs as though you're walking on the spot. Wiggle your hips side to side, maybe twisting your body side to side a little bit. And really throughout this practice, I want you to think about feeling. Yeah, it's not about creating perfect poses. It's about feeling. It's about concentrating on the stuff that is going on in your mind, these emotions that are starting to gather up. Okay. Nice. Come up onto your tiptoes and bring your knees all the way down onto the ground. Now you can stay in a toe tucked position. Okay, I'll go sideways. Stay with your toes tucked. You can be here, pushing yourself back into your heels, or you can bring your hands onto your knees, or you might be super strong and sit back onto your heels there. We're going to stay here for 10 breaths. So try and take long, steady inhales and exhales again. And this is that first test of those emotions, of those feelings that start to rise up. Yeah? Steady inhale and exhale. And it becomes a little wobbly, it becomes a little challenging. But this is the test. Can we stay with that challenge? This is what happens when we're in that phase of growth. There's always a challenge. There's always something, some obstacle that we need to overcome. How do we face those obstacles? And this is what we start to practice when we're in our yoga poses. If you're suddenly clenching your teeth together, try and transfer that strength somewhere else. Keep that space to breathe, inhaling into the Vishuddha chakra at the back of your neck and feeling that breath flooding around your body. Everyone's going to be breathing at different rates. So when you've done your 10 breaths, come out of that, bring your hands forwards and untuck those toes. And just give your heels a wriggle on the ground there. Tap your feet. Okay. The next pose, we're going to sit back onto those heels. So again, we're going to do 10 breaths here. And you can press your hands into the ground and just push your weight back so your weight is on your heels. Or sit up. I know this isn't always suitable for all of our ankles. So if this is feeling a little pressurized on your ankles, keep your weight forwards into your hands a little bit and just push back to whatever degree you need to. Yeah. Notice the sensations that are coming up in your body, in your ankles, in your feet, in your legs. Smooth, steady breaths. Okay, and again, release. We're going to go up into that super gentle downward dog again. So lift your hips up, just stretch out the back of those legs. Give them a little shake, wriggle your hips, maybe shake one foot out, shake the other foot out. Get the blood flowing back into those legs. Lift it up, wriggle it around. That's it. Lovely. We're going to get into our first pose. Okay, so I would like you folks to bring your right foot forwards towards your right hand and bring your back knee down onto the ground. So you're in a lunge. Bring your hands inside that front foot. Yeah. Okay. You can untuck those back toes, whatever's the most comfortable for your knee. If you need a cushion under your knee, put a cushion underneath that knee. And what we're going to try and do is walk our hands forwards a little bit. And imagine you're trying to open that liver area. Yeah. So you might come up onto your fingertips. You might, again, want a cushion underneath your hands, but we're getting this sense of lifting and opening in the front of the body. And all the way down the front thigh. Yeah. Also, you can, and I know I've not got the best colored pants on for you to see this, you can drop onto the edge of your front foot. So you can kind of drop your knee out to the side and get an opening in the inner thigh. Yeah. You can use your hand just to gently push that knee out to the side. Now, don't go too far too quickly. Yeah. The idea of yin yoga is that we can stay in these poses for an amount of time. So you're going to be here for a few minutes. So go to where you feel is appropriate for now. And as you breathe and the time moves on, you might find that you can go a little bit further, whether that is further into your lunge or further opening of that front knee. It's entirely up to you. And this is your test of patience. Can we be patient with ourselves? Hips are very tight areas. We do a lot of work with our hips. They're the main weight-bearing parts of our body. Try and think about that smooth breath as you're breathing space all the way into the back of your neck, down your spine. And allow that sense of space and steadiness to take over your whole body. And it's entirely up to you when you feel like you want to make any changes. If you didn't drop that knee out and you feel that you want to, do that whenever it feels appropriate. And we're really aiming to stretch really down the left side, all of that front thigh, and sort of lift and open the front of the ribs. And then the inner thigh on the right side. So it's happening in multiple points of the body. You're halfway through already. And really, we're continually coming back to this aspect of noticing the different things that come up in our mind, the different things that are running through our emotions as we're in these poses. And I know it isn't necessarily easy. People always think that yin is the soft, gentle version of yoga, but sometimes this emotional stuff is the most challenging. You're into your last few rounds of breath. If you turned that right knee out to the side, bring it a little bit more into center so your toes point forwards. And we're going to come up to rest on that knee. So standing a little taller. So lifting and lengthening the body. In essence, it's kind of a back bend, really. So lifting yourself up really nice and tall. You can push your hands into that front knee. And again, find that space all the way through the front of the body, through the front of those ribs. And again, it's entirely up to you how far down you go into those hips. It's your choice. But if you notice that you're resisting, if you notice that you're sort of stopping your body opening, allow your body to open. Yeah, and it might feel a little bit different. Your knee can come forwards over your ankle if that's where it wants to go. So you're not trying to use your strength to hold a shape. You're trying to work deeper than the muscles of your body and go into the soft tissues to find space, to create space in your joints and in these areas where we hold tightness in our body. And of course, if it feels too much, come out of it. And notice what's continually coming up in your mind. You know that there's an end to this. You know that this is going to finish. So we're working on balancing our sense of determination without getting frustrated. Smooth, steady inhales and exhales. Let's take one last big breath in. and a breath out. Bring your hands back down onto the ground and move out of this pose. Now I'm going to give you a minute or so to what we call rebound from this. If you want to go back into a child's pose, if you want to do downward dog, if you want to lie flat on your belly, it's completely up to you. Go where your instinct tells you you want to go. It could be stillness, it could be movement. And notice in all ways the different things that that pose has brought up for you. Even if it's just a thought of, oh my God, what was that? Notice how it made you feel. Not just the physical sensations, but the emotions that came up as well. Maybe there's a lot, maybe there's not a lot. And we're going to move into the other side. So maybe you want to stretch out in that downward dog again. Hands forwards, feet back, hips up in the air. And this time we're going to bring the left foot forwards. Bring that back knee down. We'll start with the same one as before, hands inside the front leg. And try and get that sense of pushing into the ground and lifting and opening the front of your body. You're going to be here for about 3 minutes, we did before, okay? This wood element is about finding our ability to grow from our seed, from this seed that we've nourished over the winter time. It could be nourishing our body. It could have been nourishing a thought, a task, a new project. But the wood element teaches us how we're going to grow from that seed. Without exploding or reacting, it allows us to find our strength, a smooth flow. I'm really looking into the center of our feelings, because these poses are a little challenging as you bring yourself to stay with them. It allows you to reach into your intuition of, do you want to stay and grow a little bit more? Or are you ready to move on and expand? So use that analogy in your pose. If you want to drop and open that front knee out a little bit, you can. If you want to lower your hips down a little bit more, you can. If you want to lift your chin and look upwards and stretch all the way up to your throat, you can. So it becomes much more than a lunge. It becomes a big, stretchy, strange, open pose. And it's up to you to guide that. It's up to you to notice what you need, how your body reacts, where your mind is willing to take you. Remember, don't grit the teeth, steady your breath. Nice, last couple of breaths. And we're going to move up into that higher position just for a couple of minutes. So a slightly shorter one. Bringing that foot a little closer into the middle, not directly in the middle. You still need your balance. And coming up, either to rest on the elbows or the hands. It's entirely up to you. Whichever feels the most comfortable for you. Each side might be different. Okay? And see if you can get this sense of opening. I mean, with this left leg forwards, you were starting to open really through that right side of the body, through that liver area. It might feel quite different because our bodies are different on the inside. How do you face these experiences, these different scenarios that come up as we're in these challenging spaces? Are these qualities that you can make a little bit softer? Knowing that there's an end goal here of making space in your body, of finding some well-being, but with whatever you've got going on in life, understanding what the goal of your project is, your springtime resolution. How can you soften into facing the challenges and find your own unique way of growing to reach those goals? Last couple of rounds of breath. And notice what happens in your mind when I say that, when you know that the end is coming. All right, bring those hands down again, folks. Well done. Those are tough poses. Rebound for a couple of minutes. Maybe you want to go into cat and cow and move a little bit. Maybe you just want to sit back and rest your head on the ground. Child's pose. Maybe you want to lie flat on the front of your body or the back of your body. It is entirely up to you. Just sort of making a catalogue in your mind in a way of the different things that come up through those poses. It might not be anything hugely dramatic. And from wherever you are, start to make your way to lie flat down on your belly, on the front of your body. Yeah. And for now, tuck your chin under, fold your arms and rest your forehead on your arms. Yeah. Try not to rest on your chin, as we want that jawline and the neck to stay nice and relaxed. So rest your head on your arms. That's it. We're into the last pose, and this is one of my favorite poses. It's a little bit of an earth element pose, so you're really close to the ground. I'd like you to just bring your right leg up and out to the side. So you're making a little frog leg with that right leg. So lifting your knee up and out to the side. Yes, the inside edge of your leg and your foot is on the ground. Yeah, so the foot's not up in the air. Yeah, that's it. I think I can see you. So everything's flat on the ground. The inside of your knee, the inside of your ankle is on the ground. It's half frog pose, okay? Now, if you don't want to rest on your arms, you can take your arms into any sort of different position that you want. They might do the same thing. One arm might do something different to the other. You can rest your cheek on the ground. But really just start to allow yourself to sink into the earth. Big breath in. And let it go. Just imagine that you're sort of hugging the earth here. So super cozy. Breathe into your belly. And as you're breathing and sensing that breath traveling in and around your spine, notice the movement that happens in your body. So it's always said that Yin Yoga is the yoga of stillness. But we're never completely still. As you're breathing, there's this gentle movement of things on the inside of your body. And this softness, this soft pose counteracts those strong lunges and allows us to notice the aspects of kindness and compassion that are the balance to those bits of frustration and over eagerness that come out. So we're not trying to get rid of those more energetic emotions. Just trying to notice them, bring them into balance, bring them into a little bit of control. Notice the contact that you're making with the ground, with whatever you're touching. Notice how that feels. And think about what might be running through your mind now. Maybe a simple sense of relief that you're not doing any more lunges. That is the usual one. Can you allow yourself to feel more grounded, more close to gravity? Notice the sensations that might happen through your muscles, through your bones. Now you're not using them anymore. All right, folks, last breath into the belly and let it out of the mouth. Bring those legs back together. Stay exactly where you are. We need to do the other side. So when you're ready, lifting the left leg up and out to the side to make that little frog leg with the inside of your knee, the inside of your foot. Just gently pressing into the ground. And of course, you're going to have to shift your arms. You're going to have to shift your head. It might be into a different format that you were on the first side. But make this comfortable. This is your earthing, grounding to balance out the fieriness of the other poses. Wood sits in between earth and fire. It uses earth. It feeds fire. So we're trying to create something that is a balance of those two. Take a big breath in And a breath out, release. Every time you breathe out, and that breath is whipping its way around your body, cleansing out through your spine. See if you can get a little closer down to the ground, building on this aspect of trust that something's holding you. And just thinking about where have those emotions gone that came up when you were in those lunges. If there was anything that was feeling a little strong, a little overwhelming, where have they gone? Not that we want to call them back, but just noticing that these things are temporary. Our emotions and our thoughts are just fleeting things that come and go. And this is our cycle. Things arise, things are there in our full attention, and then they dissolve again, they disappear. Breathe into your belly. Allow yourself to trust the ground to hold you. You're into your last minute in this pose. Mm. Make these last few breaths a little bigger. Feeling that movement of your liver, your lungs, your stomach on the inside. Bring those legs together again. So, folks, I'm going to invite you to come back up to seated. So take it really steady. You've been laid down there on your belly for quite a long time. Do whatever movements you need to do on the way. If you need to, again, wriggle your spine or twist things a little bit. And find that cushion or whatever it was that you were sat on before. And you can, of course, you can sit in a kneeling position as well with the cushions underneath you, multiple cushions. You don't have to sit cross-legged. We're going to do a little breath work technique now. And the idea of this breath work is, again, finding balance. And it's a really good one to create a sense of calm. And you can do it for however long you want to. You can sit and do it for 10 minutes if you want to. Using your right hand. So I don't know which side is, I don't know which way around the screen is for you, but your right hand. So there's this belief in yoga that the right side of your body is like your fiery sun side. The left side is your moon side, your calm, steady side. So kind of like the two parts of our nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic, the one that's always on the go and the one that's a little quieter and calmer, okay? We're going to use our right hand because the thumb represents the sun on the fire side of the body, and you're going to close that nostril. And then you can use your index finger on the left nostril, okay? So we're alternating between those. If you want to be a little bit more fancy, you can make a mudra with your hands. I always call this the Star Trek mudra. Balance those first two fingers on your third eye, and you're using your thumb on that nostril again, and your ring finger on the left, okay? So alternating between those two, whichever is the easiest, yeah? I'm just going to go with using my index finger and my thumb for now, okay? So we're going to close our nose with the thumb and take a big breath in through the left side. Now switch your fingers and breathe out of the right. Breathe in the right. Switch. Breathe out the left. Breathe in the left. Switch. Breathe out the right. Breathe in. Switch. Breathe out. Breathe in. Switch. Breathe out. Breathe in. Try and make the breaths as big as you can. Switch. Breathe out. Fully breathing out, squeezing all of that air out of your body. Breathe in. Switch. Breathe out. And keep going with that for another few rounds yourself. Find your own pace. Find the pace that you want your breath to be at. You might slow down from what I was counting dramatically. So your sense of calm is perfectly within your control. And the goal here isn't to fit in as many as possible. The goal here is to find balance and to find calm. Okay? So if that means slowing down considerably, if that is what you feel like you want to do, allow yourself to slow down. The next time you breathe out of the left side, just relax the hands down onto your legs again. Try and sit nice and tall through your spine. And come back to that breathing we were doing at the beginning so you can follow this really old-fashioned journey of the breath in and around the space at the back of your neck, down the spine and curling and whipping its way out of the root through your nose again. So there's this cycle that goes nose, head, spine, root, front of the body, and out. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe a sense of softness around all of those parts of the body, the neck, everything that's through the back, the shoulders, the lower back, the hips. Through the soft, vulnerable center of your body around that liver. Bring your left hand to your heart. Your right hand onto the lower belly. Give yourself a little squeeze. And say thank you to yourselves for this gift of space that you have gifted to yourselves this evening. Take a little bow in gratitude to yourself and to everyone else for sharing this. For me, thank you all for trusting me again. Nice work. I'm going to see if I don't know whether I can unmute you. Even though Chris said I was in control, I'm actually not in control. And I can't unmute everybody.
So I have to ask, I can't give you all the control, Miz. I don't know what kind of monster you'll become.
There we go. How do you feel?
I want to sleep.
You want
Yeah.
to sleep?
I want to sleep.
Good.
Well, when we were doing the knee out to the side one, I was like, oh God, I am
Yeah.
tired.
Dozing off.
You were doing the what? Which one?
You know, when you have your knee out to the side, like the frog leg.
A
Oh,
half
yeah,
frog.
yeah. Frequently, when we do that in class, frequently I hear people just going face on the ground, like you know. It is. It's a really grounding pose. Yeah.
Yeah, we're great.
Did you
Thank
have any
Miz.
like big feelings of emotions and stuff, particularly in those lunges? They're quite challenging sometimes, aren't they?
I mean, hate is a strong emotion, I found. I hate this position.
Exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, people think that like yoga's got to be all fluffy and nice and like, woo, good vibes only. But what I love about these yin practices is that they're really challenging. They can be really confronting, and it's really allowing us to sort of look at all of these things that interject themselves into our mind. Like, I fucking hate this. This is awful. Whatever, you know? But then you've got to take a deep breath and understand your own levels of perseverance and stuff. And that is what this wood element is teaching us about our levels of patience, perseverance, and finding the balance with these challenging things, and then how we want to go into them and how we can go into them. So what I want you all to do when you go to bed tonight is take 3 really big breaths and imagine that circulation flushing out of your body. Huge breath in and a huge breath out. Yeah, the full breath out. Try and do 3 big breaths before you go to sleep and just really try and sink into that sleep. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah.
And that you do your Nadi Shodhana, your balancing breathing. I'm going to write that in the chat for you. Nadi Shodhana. That's what it's called. Balancing breathing. Okay? Balancing your fiery sun side with your soft moon side.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions?
Only where my cat went. My cat made a cameo in the middle of the grounded one, but he's
Okay.
disappeared. So
My dad did as well. My dad was in here at one point.
My cat's just gone to sleep. He's there.
Oh,
Oh.
Must have been that frog pose.
All right, folks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Miz.
I'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you, Chris. I've got to go into my other session.
Yeah, but thank you very much. I'll
Bye, bye,
see if
bye,
this recording
bye.
works.